What's going on, you guys? In today's video, we are taking the 1965 Honda RA272 for a test drive in Gran Turismo 7. We just spent our last 2.5 million credits buying this car from the legendary car dealership, and I want to know whether or not it was worth it. If you guys have already bought this car and you've already taken it for a test drive, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. But for now, we're going to go on ahead and jump right in and see what his Haggertys have to say about this car. One of the most iconic cars in Honda's history is this Formula One machine, the Honda RA272. Honda was the first Japanese automaker to compete in F1 racing. In 1965, this car earned Honda its first F1 win at the Mexican Grand Prix in the final round of the season. It's actually really cool to think about. You go all season long, no victory, and then last race of the season, you finally get the big W. It's actually a nice little piece of motorsport history. With an aluminum monocoque chassis up front and a space frame towards the rear, it was powered by a horizontal 1.5 liter V12 mounted amidships. That's actually crazy to think about because a V12 nowadays, it's going to be like 8 liters, right? If you think about like a 4-cylinder would be like on average 1.5 liters. My Subaru has a 2.5 liter, it's a 4-cylinder, and that is a fairly large 4-cylinder. So to think about a V12 with a 1.5 liter engine, the cylinders on that thing must be tiny. The RA272 was developed and driven by Richie Ginter, an American racer of the 1960s. Honda has since earned many victories as an engine supplier, and it all began with the RA272. All right, we're not going to buy that again because we've actually already purchased it, and we don't need to spend 5 million credits on the car, but we are going to flip over to my garage, hop in it, and see what this car sounds like with its startup sequence, and then we'll check the spec sheet. Okay. Before they had VTEC, but I see you, Honda. Yeah, that sounds good. All right, let's check it out. What do we got here for specs? It's a 628 pp out of the box, 228 horsepower, 100 foot-pounds of torque. That's also crazy to think about because that's going to be like your average production car nowadays. Like if you buy, most production cars are going to be around like 150 to 200 horsepower. 220 and above, that's going to be like economy sports cars. And then above that, you start getting more into like sports car territory. But this was a Formula One car and it had 228 horsepower. And that was representative of the pinnacle of motorsport in 1965. So just think about that for a sec. Again, 1.5 liter, 1,000 pounds, 1,100 pounds. So that's like power to weight ratios, almost 5 to 1 around there, or 1 to 5, I should say. 5 to 1. Quarter mile time of 11.75 seconds. And we do get racing hards right out of the box because it's, you know, it's a race car. And so we'll go on ahead and test that. So let's go on ahead and head over to High Speed Ring. Actually, you know what? Let's check out some liveries real quick. I haven't made a livery for this car yet, but I am going to. I actually have a concept in mind, but let's go on ahead and see. Ooh, we've got the Golf livery, Pennzoil. Hey, okay. I love this. I love it. You guys know I've got a sweet spot when you put like special effects on a livery. This is awesome. And we're going to add that to our car. So we're at Special Stage Redux for the first part of our testing. And what we're going to do for this part of the test drive is actually just see if we're able to beat the quoted quarter mile time that Polyphony put in the spec sheet. I feel like it was 11.75 seconds for a quarter mile time. We're also going to check out the top speed of the car and then just take it for a quick spin and see what it looks like on the road. Beyond that, we will take the car in for some circuit testing. I'm also using the H pattern here, and you got to be really careful when you're on a rig and using the H pattern in this game because you 100% can actually stall the car. Little known fact, actually. So let's go ahead and see what we're able to put down for a quarter mile time. 3, 2, 1. There we go. And this is the 100 meter line. And then we've got the 200 meter line. And then we've got the 300, and we're looking for the 400. All right, let's go on ahead and run back that replay and see where we crossed the line at. Okay, this is the 400. Wow, 11.75. That's crazy. That has never happened before. Yeah, noses across. That is insane, you guys. I almost always beat the quarter-mile time on this game that Polyphony quotes. We need to double check that real quick. And wow, yeah, look at that. 11.75 exactly. All right, that's pretty crazy. All right, so let's go ahead and have a look at this car. We're just gonna do our top speed run. And while we do it, I just want you guys to pay attention to the details and how Polyphony basically modeled this car in the game. First, looking at the rear axles and the way that they spin like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, I've never seen that kind of effect on a car in this game before. Very possible that it's been there, but I've never seen it, and it just looks awesome. Excuse my French. On top of that, let's go on ahead. Look at the suspension articulation. You can see the front control arms going up and down. Let's go on ahead and shift so we don't stall. You can see the rear coil springs flexing up and down. I'm super impressed with this car. I think it looks great. Let's go on ahead and see real quick what we're able to put down for a top speed. And while we do that, we'll take a look inside the cockpit, which, all right, so it's got the tachometer rotated off to the side like that. And I think that that's just so that you can get a slightly different view of it. Maybe, you know, so your shift points are easier marked. I'm not really sure. What is that thing in the windshield there? It looks like a missile. What is that? Is it supposed to be a shift light? What is this thing in the windshield here? I'm not really sure. I don't think it's a shift light, but I'm not really sure what it is. But yeah, really cool car, you guys. Kind of freaks me out that he never takes his hand off the shifter. Let's try something. Ooh. Ah, there we go. All right. Now his hands are off the shifter. You just have to actually be steering the car a bit. Just an awesome looking car. All right, so I actually hopped on Google real quick because I was curious why the tachometer is rotated sideways like that. And that is actually specifically called a clocked tachometer, or a clocked gauge. And the reason why it is rotated like that, or clocked in motorsport terminology, is so that the driver can quickly glance down and make sure that the engine is operating within the expected range. Back when there weren't shift lights and things like that, having a clocked tachometer like that, the driver, let's say they wanted this car to rotate, or I'm sorry, wanted this car to shift at 10K RPMs, having the tachometer clocked like that would make it really easy for the driver to see the vertical needle and know that that's when he had to shift. So just an example, an explanation for why the tachometer is rotated. Looks like we're getting up to, what are we at, 184 for our top speed in this car. So that's not bad. 184 top speed, 11.75 quarter mile time. Let's go on ahead and head into an arcade race, see what we are able to do with this car on the track. So we're at Grand Valley for the second part of our testing, and what we're doing here is just basically seeing how the car handles on the track with other cars. And this is a race car, so I don't anticipate it's going to handle terribly. So we just have a quick 2-lap race set up here at Grand Valley just to see how it handles on the track. But I will tell you, the first thing that I'm noticing is just how little this car is. Like, that's a Mini in front of me, and I'm little compared to the Mini. So yeah, that's just kind of interesting to wrap your head around. Give me space. Dive bomb. Is that a safety car? They put a safety car in my arcade race. That's actually really funny. I don't think that's ever happened before. I kind of want that safety car now. How do I get that? The GTR is a big boy. Thank you. Bye. I think I have dirty tires. Oh wow, look at the tires. Watch what happens when I dip the tire in the dirt. That is really interesting. The car actually handles really well. Just takes a little getting used to. Little bumpy, ride's okay. 3 out of 10. Okay, so that was our, arcade test drive experience. And the car handles just fine, honestly, how you'd expect for a Formula 1 race car from the 60s. I was getting a little slidey during that race, and it's made me kind of want to switch wheels, throw a quick drift tune on this car, and see if we're able to get it sideways. The ultimate drift tire. Those default settings for drifting. Camber. Almost 0 at the front, 0 at the rear. Lock out the diff. Guys, these are just my default settings for drifting. I haven't added any performance parts. I don't know if you can. We'll check that out after. But honestly, this car has enough power where I don't think I'm going to need any additional performance parts in order to drift it. Oh, my tires didn't change. I was like, why am I not sliding? I still have racing hards on. Here we go. Let's do it. Oh no! Oversteer. That's alright. We'll get him on the next one. Alright, so let's go on ahead and get the steering ankle adapter and the hydraulic handbrake. And we'll see. Hey. Oh. Wait, I can't get the steering. Really? Come on, alright. We're just gonna have to do this on pure merit. What else is available for upgrades on this car? Really, not a lot. And you wouldn't really expect there to be a lot available, honestly. It's already a race car, so think of it as like a Group 2 car, basically. So, that's alright. Well, we've got the hydraulic handbrake, and we will add the ballast. Oh yeah, so the front rear weight balance is 40-60 to the rear. So we're gonna go on ahead and actually shift that towards the front quite a bit. Boom, 50-50. Let's do something really stupid. We're gonna go to a lobby. We're gonna see if we can find a drift lobby at Suzuka and take this thing for a drift around the S's at Suzuka. Hopefully I don't get booted. Drift, ooh, okay. Sections, comfort hard, no all-wheel drive. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Anybody in here I recognize? Nope. It's a good start. Hooking it up! Oh, uh-oh. Oh no! Well, that wasn't bad. We haven't embarrassed ourselves too much yet. Are we doing sections? Are we not doing sections? So that's going to go on ahead and wrap up our test drive on the Honda Formula 1 car. And to be quite honest, I don't know if I should have spent my last 2.5 million credits buying this car. I enjoy driving it. It's a really cool car to look at. You know, obviously there's a lot of detail that went into modeling this car, and it's a really beautiful car, and it is fun to drive. But is it worth 2.5 million credits when those are the last 2.5 million credits in your bank account? Probably not. Am I looking forward to making liveries for it? Yes, but do I have really any other use case for this car? Not really. Maybe if you have more credits or you're just trying to collect everything in the game, this would be a good car for you to buy, and you should buy it because you never know when it's going to pop back up in the legendary car dealership. But for me, I'm not in any big rush to collect or close out my menu books, and so I probably would have waited. But either way, I'm glad I got to drive it, and I'm glad you guys got to hang out while I went on this test drive today. If you did buy the car yourself, let me know what you thought of it, especially maybe if you drove it in VR or if you found a better use case for it. Really curious to hear what you guys have to say. But that's going to go on ahead and wrap up our video for today and wrap up our test drive. So thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out. And I guess, until next time, we'll talk to you later and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.